You've obviously played against Utah State over the years. So would you say this is probably one of the best teams that you've played so far?
Uh, I'd say it's the best team we've played so far. They're good. They've been good. Uh, they have really good players. They're well coached. They do really good things on both ends of the ball. So for one day to prepare, they present a big challenge. They got tons of experience, obviously. Uh, so and they've been doing what they do, and they have tons of experience doing it. So, by far the best team we played, and I just think because of that, they're really good. They present a myriad of challenges offensively, for you offensively, in how they play defense, and that's why, the real thing I stressed was, we just had to have the resiliency in this game, possession to possession. It's going to be okay. How's it going offensively? It's going to be hard. And we just need the resiliency, and we had it in the first half. We just stuck with it, and what it was it was our defense. Our defense was, we hung in there. We played our defense. We made it hard for them. I know they had 40, well, that's because late we gave up a couple offensive rebounds, but we hung in there defensively. We took care of the ball, right? And as we did that, things opened up for us offensively. We figured some things out, and that's what we needed, and we didn't have that in the second half. Our defense in the second half, I didn't recognize our defense. I didn't recognize one possession. I don't know. Like I said, we're going to watch film. It's been the same defense we played. We've played 3 prior league games where we made the opponents have a worse second half than first half. The last 3 games. It's what we needed to do tonight. And our defense in the second half just was not not what we're supposed to do. And when you like that, you lose the ability to have that resilience against these guys, because we needed to have that on the defensive end to give our offense time to try to okay, are we going to be able to grind through this offensively? But as soon as we didn't do that defensively, right? We had no chance. They just were able. They broke the game open. So to me, it's like I told our guys, offensively in one day, okay, I made a choice. Let's try this. Let's try that. Could have made different choices and done some other things to help our guys offensively, and that's, that's what you do as a coach. That's on me to, pick something else. But our guys showed, if you hang in there defensively, if you just hang in there, something can break for you. And we didn't have that type of resolve in the second half defensively, and that was the key to the game. Now, give it credit to them. When you don't play your defense, when we don't do that, and they're getting this one here and that one that way and this one over here, and they're getting you 4 and 5 ways, well, their ball's going in. That's why they're the best team we played. So that's what the message is going to be. That's what our film's going to be, because that has to be what we do every game. And like I said, we did it the first 3 games. Is our offense ever going to catch up? I don't know. Is our shooting ever going to catch up? I don't know. And that's, again, where our guys got to really know, well, then that means defensively, no matter what's happening on the offensive end, right? And we should know that by now, because is our shooting ever going to catch up? Is our foul shooting? I don't know. Okay, well, you know what we got to make sure we do? We got to make sure we play defense like you can't believe, the way we're supposed to, our way, all the time, and that's got to be the thing we stress, and that's our only chance to give our offense an opportunity at some point to catch up to our defense. Because coming into this game, I was happy with our defense. All right, the first half, okay, it's what we need to see. Non-existent in the second half tonight.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think there was that shift in the second half? Do you think there was anything?
You know what? That's why I'm sort of at a loss, because it's not like they did anything different. It's not like, whatever. What I'll say is, I think for, our youth as a team, one day to prepare against that defense, what it did was the lack of offensive, say, cohesion, the lack of, oh, yeah, we're doing what we know what we're doing. It took its toll on our guys, and it affected them down the other end. Well, that's what you can't allow happen, and like I said, I thought we did a good job in the first half of that. But in the second half, that sort of wore us down. And again, offensively, I will, as the coach, okay, I'll take the blame for that. I mean, you need experience and you need to cracks at playing against that. You need to have played 110 college basketball games like their guys have to play against that and be like, it's no big deal. We know it's a little junky and it's not exactly perfect, but that's okay. But I think that's what happened to us, and we allowed it to sort of take away from our defensive resolve, which against these guys, to have a chance, you got to have that defensive resolve for 40 minutes.
Do you feel like you guys had momentum going into the halftime? And
I mean, we came out and cut it to 11. It's the same thing. It's like, my message was we got to win the first 5 minutes. We won we won the last 15 minutes the first half. We lost the first 5 minutes. And I said, we got to come out here and win the first 5 minutes of the second half. And really, I was saying that because, we need to set the tone that we are going to have that kind of resolve for the whole 20 minutes. And that's what the first 5 minutes was, and we didn't win the first 5 minutes. I mean, we had 13 turnovers in the game, and 11 of them came in the first 5 minutes of the first half and the first 5 minutes of the second half. So, again, that's, give them credit. That's why they do this switching defense and play this zone and match it up and do all these things with the length they have and the experience they have. It presents challenges. That's why they're really good. That's why they might be the best team in the league. They're definitely one of the top 2 teams in the league. That's why they're an NCAA tournament team. That's why they're, 12, 13, and 1. You know what I mean? I mean, so they're really good. They got a lot of experience. They got a lot of really good players. They do a lot of really good things, right? We have to learn that because we're going to face it, right? You got to have the resolve defensively to just have such effort on that defensive end, because you'll find maybe, hey, your offense breaks through somehow. And I thought we saw a little bit of that in the first half, but you got to be able to have the resolve to do it for the entire game.
Yeah, for sure. And you had some new players out there today. Brendan and Sam got some more minutes. Can you just talk about how?
Well, I mean, I think as we go through the season, both those guys, I like both those guys. Both those guys practice hard. I think both those guys are going to be really good players. They're freshmen, but I think they both work hard, and there's ability there. There's a caring level there too, which is really important. And as we go through this and keep going through it, we're going to figure out how we practice in a way where, if you're caring and you're putting in the extra work and you're out there every day doing that, then we got to find a way to give you a crack. So those guys have earned it. Brendan's definitely earned it through every day. He works his tail off. I mean, Samuel does too. Brendan, in that regard, is a little further ahead, but they both have basketball instincts, and Brendan works hard. Brendan got extra work in. Brendan got extra work in the weight room. Brendan got thrown into the game. Brendan made 2 shots. That's the way it's supposed to. That's the way it usually works. If you put in extra work, if you put in the extra time. So I'm happy to see that for him, because I threw him in there, and okay, he had 2 shots and he made them. I mean, that's, I throw you in there. You never know when I'm going to throw you in there. It's called sports, you know what I mean? And you got to be ready. And, some people say, what, was I supposed to be ready to do something? Yeah. And now we saw Brendan go out there. He bangs 2 shots. Guess what? Okay, I saw that, and that's going to inform, how we move forward. But it's not just those 2, but I'm glad to see that, because that's what you got to do. You got to get an extra work. You got to stay after practice. You got to get out there early. You got to say, Coach, can you come down and work me out? Coach, can I watch film? That's what you got to do, and you got to do that to be a good player. I played. I know what you got to do, right? I also know you got to do it because I know what Utah State's doing. I know what New Mexico's doing every day. They're in the gym every day. They're getting extra work in every day. They're watching film like you can't believe, because that's what every team in this league's doing. That's what it is. I mean, so we got to find guys, and we got to find a way to be doing that too, and that's why I'm happy for Brendan.
Yeah, and how will this game help you when New Mexico comes in on Saturday?
Well, I'm a big believer. I said this to our guys the other day. Uh, there's the old saying, like every experience is a good experience. There's no such thing as a bad experience. When you're a competitor, when you're resilient, for real, when you got the belief in yourself, when you got the belief in the team, uh, and you're competitive, well, then every experience is a good experience. Because you look at tonight, or it doesn't matter what it is. Okay, what'd you learn when you're like that? What I learned? I learned exactly what we talked about. I learned that I have to give such effort on defense all the time that's within my, because that's what helps you through a game where your offense isn't sort of helping you that much. And that's, I had a long talk with our team about that. And in today's age, I think that's a skill. You got to constantly be working on that. We are constantly. It's like that was the theme. Like there's got to be this resiliency, possession to possession, right? And oftentimes you find it's on the effort and on defense. It's on the discipline on defense because the ball doesn't go in all the time. And I think that's what this guy's got to learn from this game. You're going to play against teams. We might run into a zone. Okay, hey, the coach, we did the wrong things on offense. Okay, I got an idea. Play defense really well. What you might find is things break free on offense, and all of a sudden the guy makes a shot, right? But that's what they have to learn, and we should definitely learn it because we have our shooting woes. That's a fact. So what are you going to do to solve your shooting woes? Get in the gym, extra time on your own. But I got an idea, more effort on the defensive end, more effort towards, being really committed to your offensive execution, whatever that is. That's the way to get the ball to go in more, and that's what we have to learn from this game. We're going to play nothing but good teams. We're playing New Mexico Saturday. They're good. They're really good. Okay. Things aren't going to go great offensively like all the time. We got to be good defensively to the best of our ability, whatever that is, right? We got to be the best we can be defensively and make the game be as hard as it can be for them offensively. And that's the thing I think that ultimately over time is going to help our offense, and that's what our guys got to learn.
But you played Utah State over the years. Would you say this is one of the best teams that you've faced in your time here?
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah, and can you just talk about kind of what makes them so dominant this season?
Yeah, there's really no drop off like anywhere in the roster. Their whole team is, super skilled, super mature. They've all played a lot of basketball, and they're a top 30 team in the country for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. And what was your all's plan for trying to contain Collins and some of those other high scoring players on their team?
Yeah, we were just trying to lock in on our defense and trying to stay disciplined with scouting report and our defensive, disciplines.
Sure. Were you able to say hi to Luke at all and catch up with him?
No, and in the game it's trying to play basketball, but he's still one of my really good friends, so I'm sure I'll see him here soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And it kind of seemed like at the end of the first half, you guys were starting to kind of find a spark and get going. Would you say that was true? And yeah, what was that like there, kind of into the half?
Yeah, we were just trying to stay aggressive. Like we said earlier, Utah State's a really good team, so we're just trying to do what we do and try to put the ball in the basket as much as we can. So games full of runs, and I guess that was ours.
Yeah, what are some positive takeaways from this game? What are some of the, I guess, good things that you saw in this game?
I think the team was stayed in it the whole time. We continued to fight even though we're down 40 games, 40 minutes long, and I think we saw a lot of good stuff out of some of the bench players. Brennan Martin came in, banged 2 shots, right at the gate. So saw some good potential in some of the younger guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys have a couple of days and then host New Mexico. You probably haven't looked too much at New Mexico yet, but I guess what are some takeaways from this game for that next one?
A lot of the same stuff. New Mexico's another one of the really good teams in the conference, so practice has got to be intense. We've got to lock in on scouting report, defense, and get our offensive plan ready to go.
This was your first time playing Utah State, and probably one of the best teams that they've had in a while. What was your experience like on the court, just playing them today?
they're a really good team. They showed why they're one of the top teams in the conference, but we showed we could hang with them. Made a couple runs in the first half. Just wish we could have stuck to continued that in the second half, but we move on to Saturday. So.
Yeah, and Caleb Walker talked about how you guys never gave up and kept pushing. Can you talk about some of the team captains' roles or anyone else on the team that kind of kept that encouragement up on the court?
It's a team. Everybody's a collective. Everybody pouring into each other, giving each other confidence. The captains, Kobe, Caleb, Wes, I mean, they just reinforcing that. And it's our job to keep everybody confidence up even when we get down big leads, because we've shown in the past we can come back from those big leads and continue to be resilient.
Yeah, and kind of like I asked him, what was kind of your all's game plan to go against Collins and King and some of those other players?
Just try to, make them do stuff they didn't want to do. I mean, they shot 8 for 14 tonight. They were getting open looks. I mean, kind of the second half, they kind of took it off. In the first half, we were kind of more stuck to the game plan. But as they got in transition, got to get back as a team. It starts with me getting to the nail, but we'll be better.
Yeah, going into this game, were you all intimidated by this team at all, or just treated them like any other team?
Nah, I mean, it's us versus others, Air Force versus Air Force. Just playing with some pride each and every game for our fans. So just got to keep coming back, keep working each and every day. Everybody has to get in the gym. Has to start with the preparation from New Mexico, so everybody has to be bought in. Practice has to be unbelievably intense, energy through the roof, so can't wait.
Yeah, and what did you all talk about at halftime to try to cut down on their lead after the first half?
Just stay with our defense, energy. Just continue to be us, because we cut it to 11. Caleb got the N1 layup, and then they got in. As I mentioned, they got out in fast break, got a couple easy ones go in, then they start making some tough ones. But just continue to be us.
Yeah, and it seemed like your all's foul shooting and was better today. Can you talk about that and maybe some of the other positives from this game?
Yeah, just stepping up there, being accountable, just being reliable for your teammates. Just stepping up, going 2 for 2. Caleb Walker had a big day from the free throw line. We're gonna keep needing that. I think we weren't close to the 75% mark, but just keeping that consistency as a team, because we know that's been our Achilles heel for a couple of games. So seeing that tonight was very beneficial.